Laura's Gift by Annemarie O'Brien, Chapter 7, The Wedding Dress. Like a well-tuned clock, Bowden began to stir and let out a cry. "He'll be hungry soon," Mama said. "Don't let me keep you," the Countess said, pinching Bowden's cheeks. "Boris will take you to the studio." I wasn't ready to leave. We still had not had our tea and cakes. Everything revolved around Bowden. "Pity we didn't have tea," the Countess said. "Another time," Mama said. My stomach growled. "Good luck with the apprenticeship," the Countess said to me. "Remember, I'm expecting great things from you. I'm afraid I—" Now, the Countess interrupted. "You are your mother's daughter, aren't you?" "Yes, Countess." I smiled and tried to sound convincing. Yet it all felt fake, and I kept thinking, I'm Papa's daughter, too. By the time we got bundled up again, it was snowing. A thin layer of white covered Boris. He didn't seem bothered by it and looked as comfortable at the helm of his sleigh under all that snow as a baby tucked under a bedding of eiderdown. I climbed up to the helm and brushed the snow off his sheepskin coat and hat. "Under a dry snow like this," Boris said, "it feels like an extra blanket of warmth." I thought of Tsar and how much he liked to play in the snow. "The studio isn't far." "The studio isn't far. I'd like to go by foot." I wanted to sneak a visit with Tsar along the way, as well as check on Zola. "My orders are to accompany both of you." "It's me, Boris." "I can't cross the line with such ease as you do. I know my place among nobility," Boris said. "Let me do my job. The Count and his family are kind and deserve my best." "Forgive me, Boris. You're right." Sometimes I forgot how different our circumstances were from the others who worked for the Ronstav family. When we arrived just outside Mama's studio, we bid Boris farewell and trudged a short way through the powdery snow to the studio door. As soon as we entered, Mama rushed to nurse Bowden. I threw logs onto the stove and listened to the fire crackle. "Matushka, where do you get your dress designs?" "Mostly from my dreams," Mama answered. "Sometimes the Countess shows me a picture of what she'd like." "How do you manage to make so many exquisite dresses? I fear it would take me months to make just a simple frock." "Some dresses take a week, and then there are some that take me years." Mama rubbed Bowden's back to help him fall asleep. Is one dress really worth all that effort?" I asked. "Absolutely." Mama cleared her throat and the words from Pushkin sang from her voice. "An endless choice of rich attire. Now she will gleam with ruby fire. Now robed and cloaked in purple shades, aglow with dyes of Tyrian maids." They came from Pushkin's poem about Cleopatra. Mama had often recited it to me growing up, while she did intricate beadwork on the dresses she made for the Countess. "Pushkin's words inspired me to make you a dress worthy of Queen Cleopatra," Mama said. "A dress I've worked on for years, a dress that's not yet complete." "My stable clothes suit me fine. Why would I need a dress, Matushka?" I asked in bewilderment. "For your wedding day, Dorogusha." Mama pointed to a rack of unfinished dresses. "It's hidden here. Come see for yourself." I approached the rack and fingered dresses made from velvet and silk, organza and lace, as well as chiffon and satin. Each time I gazed upon a gown, I found myself more and more drawn to what it would be like to wear a fine dress made by Mama's hands. It wasn't until my eyes fell upon a dress as white as Tsar that I thought this must be the one. I took the dress off its hanger and held it up against my shoulders. Such fine lace and beaded pearls all over the bodice, and the way the gown flowed to the floor made my heart swoon. "It's beautiful," I said with unleashed joy. Mama glowed with pride. "How could you afford it?" I had never worn silk before, and thought it much too splendid for a girl like me, who spent most of her days in a kennel. "I added beads and ribbons here and there as I could afford it," Mama said. She placed Bowden on her other breast. I noticed a subtle embroidered pattern of borzoi along the unfinished hem. "Oh, Matushka, the dogs are perfect." "Try it on," she said. I peeled off my skirt and slipped the fine dress over my head. With her free hand, Mama pulled the laces together along the length of my back and tightened them. The dress felt like a cool bath on a hot and humid day. The sleeves fit snugly around the length of my arm and opened up at the elbow. When I moved and twirled around, the silk overlay flowed in a graceful and elegant manner, much like that of a borzoi. Even when I was just a baby, Mama knew what would be important to me. The bodice glimmered under the dim light and made a kennel girl like me feel like a girl of noble origin, born to be led around the ballroom, dipping and twirling under the candlelight of the chandeliers. It feels as if your arms are wrapped around me, Metushka, holding me tightly. I hope that feeling never leaves you, Larochka. Mama patted Bowden's back until he burped, then placed him in a big basket cushioned by blankets. She took my hands into her own, and then it suddenly dawned on me. Has Papa found me a husband? The wedding dress Mama had sewn for me, regardless of all the love she had put into it, now sat as a heavy yoke upon my shoulders. Well, Doragusha, there is someone in the village that he's considering. Oh, Matushka, it seems the midwife has a nephew, Mama said. A marriage to him would keep you close to home. You can't be serious, Matushka. He's afraid of dogs. How would we manage it together? You'll adapt, as I did Lara, and the love will come. No man is perfect in the beginning. My love was reserved for the dogs and the dogs alone. J'aime ces chiens plus quoi tout. If only I still had my kennel chores to keep my mind off a loveless marriage that would take me away from Alexander and the dogs, away from my family and away from Tsar. The midwife asked me what skills you had, and I didn't much like stretching the truth. Other suitors will inquire too, Mama said. I have plenty of skills, I said, like nursing pups, tending sick dogs, and preparing food for all the borzoi. Those are hardly the kind of skills I'm talking about, Mama said. Now that your brother's sleeping, why don't we start your apprenticeship? I pushed the idea of marriage to the midwife's nephew far from my thoughts and twirled around one last time. When I peeled the dress off, my eyes gravitated to the embroidered borzoi along the hem. Let's start with embroidery. Mama handed me some patterns and scraps of fabric. I rifled through her designs and settled on a simple pattern of rosette in bloom and a swath of pink cotton. Mama threaded a needle and did a few practice stitches. Like this, nice and easy. The way Mama moved the needle and thread in and out of the fabric reminded me of a borzoi running through deep snow, popping in and out. Follow the lines and keep your stitches consistent in length, she added. The start of a headache pulsed across my forehead as I took the needle and thread from her. The more it pulsed, the harder I pierced the fabric. Not so hard, Laura, gently. Even with a pattern to guide me, my stitches varied in length. The more I kept stabbing myself with the needle, the more spitting mad I became. When I finished my rosette in bloom, it looked like a bunch of angry circles enclosed within a bigger one, dotted with bloody fingerprints. I presented my work to Mama. Oh, dear. She looked at my fingers and shook her head. Lucky for you, they'll heal. Mama checked on Bowden, then sat me down with some paper and a feather pen. Let's try sketching dresses. I took the pen and began to draw. Before I finished, I balled up the paper and tossed it into the pail filled with Mama's scraps. I took another sheet of paper, and then another and another. All of them ended up in crumpled balls with Mama's scraps. Every dress I had drawn looked like a sack. None of my designs would have impressed the Countess. Of that I was certain. One by one, Mama picked through my papers and flattened them out. Don't be so hard on yourself. It's difficult work. Try closing your eyes. Let the pen take you where it wants to go, Mama suggested. I closed my eyes and loosened my grip on the pen. My hand moved with ease, and a certain calm came to me. Let me have a look. Mama took the paper into her hands. Is this what came to you? A borzoi? Just then my temples pounded. I pressed my fingers against the pane and closed my eyes. There were Zola and Tsar snuggled in the soft straw, coddling 6 pups, or was it 7? The white pup, a female, faded in and out. Something in the way the pup faded in and out made me worry. Larochka, are you all right? I'm concerned about one of Zola's pups. Did she have them already? Mama's voice sounded surprised. Well, no, I don't think so. I didn't know what to say and stopped. Mama looked at me puzzled. You're scaring me, Laura. What's wrong? Nothing. It's nothing, I lied. Then Mama's eyes grew big. You had a vision, didn't you? The concern in her voice was like a magical key that broke down a door that I thought had been sealed shut. I'm sick about it. I promised Papa I would get rid of them. Have you been having them all along? Mama asked. I nodded in shame. You should have told us. I thought they had stopped coming to you, Mama said. Well, that changes everything in my mind. You must live the life God has chosen for you. Your Papa and I shall adjust to God's will. Adjust? If Papa finds out I'm still having visions, he'll never let me near the dogs again. And I belong with them. It's what I know. That's becoming clear to me. I wish I had known, Mama said. She glanced down at my sketch of a borzoi. You need to tell your Papa. I can't, Mitushka, I'm afraid, I said. You saw how he reacted the first time I had a vision. Then you must find a way to prove him wrong. How? I asked, Mama's face bunched up in thought. Trust in God. Through your gift, he'll show you the way. Just then, Bowden fidgeted. His tiny lips opened and closed like a newborn pup rooting for milk. Who will help you with Bowden? I'll make do. Mama picked up Bowden, gently kissed his cheeks, and then prepared to nurse him. I come from hearty stock, remember? With any luck, her hearty stock lived in me, too. I would need it to prove Papa wrong. And that's the end of chapter 7.